Katy Perry on the left, and we have Orlando Bloom here on the right. Let's just start with some basic things that would make them somewhat compatible. Katy Perry is a Sun in Scorpio in the 12th, conjunct Pluto. And Orlando Bloom is a Sun conjunct, loose conjunction there with Mars in Capricorn. So those signs make a sextile aspect. That's how we can see that usually Scorpio and Capricorn will be compatible signs because of that 60-degree angle. And I mentioned that he has Sun conjunct Mars there, and she has Sun conjunct Pluto. That would make them, on the surface, fairly compatible as well, because they have Mars being the lower octave of Pluto. These two similar planets conjunct the Sun. They both have the Sun in the 12th. She has the Sun in the 12th here in Scorpio, and he has the Sun in the 12th in Capricorn. So that would also make them fairly compatible. The moon sign. He has his moon entering Scorpio right there at 0 degrees. And she has her moon in Scorpio, 17 degrees. That would make them fairly compatible. So they have this 60-degree angle between Scorpio and the Scorpio Sun and the Capricorn Sun. They have the same moon sign in Scorpio. Now hers is in the 1st, and his is in the 8th. So both moon signs are in a house that is typically associated with Mars. So again, a lot of compatibility there, or we could at least say a lot of similarity there. Now his moon is there in Scorpio conjunct that north node, and Pluto is there as well, moving towards the north node. So there's some indication that he's moving, and that's all in the 8th house, that he's moving towards the 8th house, towards Scorpio, Pluto, etc. And she has all of these planets and the rising in Scorpio. So the fact that she's bringing all this Scorpio energy would be very attractive to him at a soul level or an unconscious level, where he's moving towards. He would be very much attracted to a person like that. We can look at his Mars there in Capricorn and his Venus are making a sextile in a first quarter phase. His Venus is in Pisces. Her Mars and Venus are making a semi-sextile, almost a semi-sextile, and it would be looks like a balsamic phase. And her Venus is in Sagittarius. So the Venus in Sagittarius and the Venus in Pisces would be fairly compatible as well, even though they make a square. They make a square here, Pisces and Sagittarius. We could say that they're both ruled by Jupiter. So we could say there's some compatibility there. Her Mars is in Capricorn, and his Mars is in Capricorn. So there's some compatibility there. Now she has that I mentioned she has the balsamic phase. He has the first quarter. This is where we probably would run into some trouble, because she would have, just based on that aspect alone, it'd be more likely that she would have more need to relate to many different people. She may be more interested in different relationships with different people. She may have some idealistic expectations when it comes to relationships. And for him, with that first quarter phase, he may be running into a little bit of a crisis himself, not sure as to uh, what he wants in a relationship. He's learning about the values that he wants from the other person. It's things of that nature. She may be more aware of what she wants, where he's still learning. And that could have led to the breakup. We saw in the other video I did on Katy Perry, you can see Uranus is transiting her north node right now, and there was a breakup. And as I said, that could have led to the breakup, that he is learning and she knows more about what she wants, and would have came to a realization that she wasn't getting that, which could have led to the breakup potentially. See, he has Neptune on the 10th house cusp there. Both their MCs are in fire. So he has an emphasized Neptune, and she has Neptune in Scorpio. I'm sorry, Sagittarius at 29 degrees. So they both have a emphasized Neptune. Hers is at 29 degrees, a critical degree in astrology. Anytime there's a degree around 0, 29, 1, it's somewhat, it gives it somewhat, the planet somewhat of importance. And anytime a planet is on an angle, the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, the 10th. So we see that there. They both have prominent Neptune. We could even say that, with her Venus in Sagittarius, a sign that is ruled by Jupiter, and it's also making an aspect to Jupiter. What does she love? What are her loves? Sagittarius, Jupiter. And we have a guy who is a Venus in Pisces ruled by Jupiter and an ascendant that's making an exact square to Jupiter with a Jupiter retrograde. Really reviewing the Jupiter aspect in his life. But particularly with that Jupiter being an exact degree of the ascendant and almost the exact degree of the sun making a trine. This would be a very Jupiter-like person. And even with Neptune there in Sagittarius, Neptune also being associated with Jupiter, this would also make them very compatible because she is interested in these Jupiter-like people with this Venus in Sagittarius. We can look at their 7th house. The 7th house for Orlando Bloom is Leo, the ruler, the sun. Now, she doesn't have any Leo, but she has Leo on the MC. And the sun in his chart is in the 12th house at 23 degrees. Again, as I said, conjunct Mars. So we could say, what kind of person is he looking for? If we look at this 7th house cusp, we're looking for a creator, looking for someone who's out in the open, in the public eye. And with that sun in the 12th, a performer and someone who also has that backing of Mars, with Mars there with the sun. And that's what Katy Perry shows in her chart. She has the sun in the 12th. She's a performer. The sun is there with Pluto. Her Mars is in Capricorn, a very Mars-like person, but Mars exalted in Capricorn. south node, where she's coming from. South node is in a planet ruled by Mars. Let's take a look at hers. Taurus in the seventh house. Ruler is Venus. Again, the Venus is in Sagittarius. If we come back to his chart, we can see somebody who would have an emphasized Venus. And here's Venus exalted in Pisces in the first house. Somebody who would have some Taurus qualities. There's no Taurus. There's no real Taurus as far as the sun and the moon, but we do have Jupiter in Taurus. We do have the moon in the sign that's opposite Taurus. As I said, we do have the Venus in the first house in Pisces. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Maybe there's some things that you can find, but this is how I look at synastry. This is how I do play astrological detective, and you can see that it's more than just the sun and the moon sign when we're talking about synastry. There's even other indications we can look at with the asteroids. But if you really add all this up, you can see there's a lot of compatibility between these two charts.